I spent years trapped in a body that I hated with belly fat that just wouldn't budge. People think it's something extreme to lose 80 pounds, but the truth is, it was a practical, science-based method that men like us can actually stick to. Now I finally feel free, strong, and attractive again, even in my 30s, and so can you. I'll show you this process step by step so that you can finally lose all that belly fat for good. To start, I'm gonna show you how to stop quitting your fat loss plan like all of us have 100 times. Because the real key is in sticking with it. If you stick with it, I promise you're gonna make it. So let me show you. Okay, so first I'm gonna show you this app that I built with Google's AI. I'm not like an app person, and it's totally free. You can get it for yourself. But up here, you put in all of your information. So I would switch to Imperial. Let's just say I was 5'10". And so here is where the magic happens, down in this corner right here. So the point of this app is to show you how something so small can lead to such big results. It's very encouraging. So let's say that your daily steps, you wanted to do 7,000 daily steps. I recommend like 8,000. So let's go with 8,000. And let's say you only wanted to work out 2 times a week, and your cardio, you want to do 90 minutes a week. That'd be 3 30-minute sessions, or whatever. And then protein intake, we definitely want that about 1 gram per pound of body weight. And then if you click calculate, it analyzes your habits, and then it's gonna spit out what you can expect to lose based off of these sliders. And then you adjust these sliders, and you can see that, oh, for 2,000 more steps, I can lose this much more weight. And it's kind of a very encouraging thing. So I'm gonna show you my results here. So by walking 8,000 steps a day based off of the information I put in, it gives a great explanation. I'm not gonna read that to you here. You can pause the video if you wanna read it. But you can expect to lose 1.5 to 2.5 pounds. And the power of this is in changing these sliders. So let's say I was willing to do 120 minutes of cardio instead. So now instead of that 1 pound, you're looking at 1.2 to 1.7 pounds just for a little bit of additional work. And so playing around with those sliders can show you what habits might be more important to you. So what does this mean for you? What I want you to think about for this point is that motivation fades. It always fades. I know that you have been there before and you have felt kind of how I feel, which is super motivated, and then it just ends up fading out and you feel like you're failing yourself. But systems, those are what you can fall back on. So the habit for the systems that we're gonna talk about here are protein and steps, your sleep, and your strength training. This is important. You're gonna set these before your motivation slips. Count on it, your motivation is gonna slip. So this is a new concept, at least new to me, that I heard about, which is setting your minimums, and that's the systems you're gonna fall back on. So I have some minimums listed out here. So your protein goal, I almost always say aim for 1 gram per pound of body weight. That is your minimum still. But if you miss it a little bit, don't worry about that specifically being a minimum. But your step goal, a minimum of 6,000. Ideally, you would build up to 8,000, and that would be the bottom. Like, you can go up from there. Please know that you can go up from there. I believe in you. Second would be 2 strength training sessions, total body. That way you hit your entire body twice a week. All you have to do there is like 2 sets per body part, as long as they're very intense, okay? So again, these are minimums. And then 6+ hours of sleep. Ideally, you'd be aiming for 8 hours of sleep. But if you hit your minimum of 6 hours, that's all you really need in order to get the fat loss progress that you want. Remember, we don't want to chase perfection. And I know that this is like a cliche statement at that point because we've heard it all 1,000 times. But if you've done that before, right? You've chased perfection before, and did it ever work out? So how about we chase minimums instead? The whole goal with all of this is to show up on tough days. It's the days you don't feel like doing it. Whenever you show up anyway and you prove to yourself, hey, I can do this. You start to believe in yourself again. That's whenever this all changes. But none of that works if your body isn't set to burn the fat long term, or we just know how this works. You're gonna gain it all back. So let me show you exactly how to avoid that. So I'm gonna do that showing you this graphic here. I love how this emphasizes that as your muscle goes up, as you gain muscle, it naturally drops your body fat. Muscle is legitimately your fat loss cheat code. And if you've heard that before and you didn't like really take that to heart, I promise this is gonna change the game for you. The reason that I think it's so powerful is because you can eat more food and still lose the body fat. A lot of people, they will consider eating like the same amount of food and just losing more body fat. But I think the power, what I really have been coaching my clients on recently is let's eat as much as possible to make this as sustainable as possible. So yes, is the fat loss still 1 pound a week? And it feels kind of slow in the grand scheme of things. Yes, but it's actually fast in the grand scheme of things, but still it feels a little bit slow, and I totally sympathize with that, but no one's suffering. And that's the key, is you stick with this, and it's because of the muscle that you've put on your body. So weights are a non-negotiable. You must be lifting weights or doing some sort of, like I have rings in the basement here, doing something to resistance train where you can get close to failure and work out hard each and every set. Cardio is more for health. It's more for your heart health and your lung health. It certainly contributes to fat loss. I'm not saying it doesn't, but I don't think long-term it's the main driver. Your non-exercise activity thermogenesis, your NEAT, so this is mainly in the form of just the amount of steps that you get per day. It's fidgeting and stuff too. But that is a huge chunk of the pie, and that's actually gonna be bigger than your cardio. It's the biggest piece of the pie that you can actually control. Now, listen, this might feel unfair, and I sympathize with that, but more movement is required to reach your goal. If before you tried to diet your way down, or you tried to use the minimum amount of exercise possible, meaning like 20 minutes twice a week or something like that with a TV workout, that's just not gonna cut it. And I don't want that to be discouraging. I want that to give you power. I want that to empower you that, hey, I see the problem. Aaron says this is the problem. I'm gonna trust that and just try this system and watch as it transforms your life. Now, if you don't do this next part of the system though, none of that's gonna work, because you won't actually know what's moving the needle. So I'm gonna show you an app that I have been loving lately. I am not sponsored by them or anything. One day I would be open to it, but it's just something I've really been loving. But you can also do this with a free app, MyFitnessPal or something. But I'm gonna show you MacroFactor. Now, this point doesn't actually have to do specifically with MacroFactor, but I just really want to show you how this app has been changing the game. I think for someone who's not used to food logging, that's why I'm so encouraged by this app, because the AI is pretty intelligent. You snap a photo of your food and it actually tracks it really, really well. And so that's a game changer. But the thing that I want to show you is actually the fact that it coaches you. So based off of your weight trend, which you can see my weight trend going down a little bit there, and then it takes what you have input in the app, and I'll show you kind of like the food log side of things. So this is what I'm about to eat. There's some beef jerky and eggs and cheese and lean ground turkey. But whenever you put your food into this app, it actually adds up your total, just like, you know, any calorie budgeting app. But based off of, going back to the weight trend, based off of your weight trend, it will recalculate your calories every single week. And so here, oh man, I hope you're still in this video. If you're still here, this is awesome. This is gold. Even if you overeat, as long as you log it, the app, so just sometimes it sucks, you overate, okay, you got to move on. But if you logged it, the app will still take that into consideration and tell you, hey, even though you overate, this is what, if you would have eaten this based off of the numbers that you put in, that you still would have lost weight. And so it gives you a target to continue to aim for. Now, you might need to slow down your rate of weight loss. There's all kinds of tricks. We're going to be talking about that in this video, but this is very, very powerful. Now, you can do the same thing in MyFitnessPal. It's just not going to do it for you. So if you are just honest and you log everything based off of your rate of weight loss, let's say you stayed flat and you didn't lose any weight for like 2 weeks, you can add up your calories for those 2 weeks, divide it by the 14 days, and then you'll have your daily average calories. And that's what's important, is it's averaging it out. And then you know that, hey, this is my maintenance. I have to subtract 500 from here. Now, if that number is small and you're like, dude, I can't eat 1,700 calories a day. If you're a guy, that's going to be really hard. If you're a girl, I can't eat 1,200 calories a day. I'm eating like a bird. And you're right. You're probably not even going to get the nutrients that you actually need. So in that case, you go back to point number one, which is we got to move more. Now on that MacroFactor app, if you do decide to use it, use code Jeff. I think that's the creator of the app. I don't get any money for that, okay? But it'll give you a 2-week free trial to at least try it out and to see what you think about it. Now, the point of this point, or what I'm going for, is that guessing is what's keeping you stuck. Guessing on your calories in your food log. Logging is like a financial budget. You're budgeting your calories. And so a lot of times a budget, whenever a person starts a money budget for the first time, they will actually say, I feel like I got a raise, or I feel like I'm more at peace, even though I'm more stringent on, I'm keeping track of something a little more stringently. And because of that, it gives them the freedom to spend the money that they thought they might be, anxiously not having. I hope that analogy makes sense. By the way, my cookbook makes food logging much easier because these are meal prep sized meals. Like this cheesy Mexican protein rice makes 8 servings and has 40 grams of protein per serving. It is absolutely fire. That's an AI picture of it, but it looks pretty similar. It is delicious, and it tells you exactly the number of grams for a serving instead of like guessing cups or whatever. So you're really gonna like it. Go ahead and get that free in the description if you want it. So back to the point though, eyeballing leads to calorie creep. And this is the most common reason that I think people stall halfway into their weight loss journey. Bites, sauces, and sips, they all add up. And we all start, even me, start to, lose our desire to log everything that we're eating. If you've never logged before, logging sounds hard, and I know it sounds kind of annoying, but just try it. Give it some effort. If this is something that is serious, like you really want to make a change here in your life, at least try it. Try the Macro Factor app. I don't know what it breaks out to per month. I paid yearly, but which is like $80 a year or something like that. But if you just snap a picture of all of your stuff, even if it's not super accurate, which I have tested it and it is quite accurate, but even if it's not, you're going to be so much more accurate on that app than you are in your head. 1 week of food logging, when you give this a try, it's, a chore. It gets a little bit easier. 1 month, it literally becomes like automatic because you've already logged everything that you tend to eat. If you eat 70 foods on average, throughout your life, you just kind of rotate through those 70 foods. You will have already logged them after a month. And so then you just start to search it and boom, it pops up and we tend to eat the same serving size roughly. Now, what if you're doing all this, but the scale still isn't moving? Let me show you this. So this right here is one of my client, I don't know why I just zoomed in there, one of my client weight loss graphs. And the point here that I'm trying to show is how the scale just isn't super dependable every time at least. So you'll see right here, this is a trend up. And so this is something we needed to fix. But look at this right here. This weigh-in was around 194.2. And then here's 198.8. That is all the way up there. So, I mean, that is a big jump. That was roughly a 4-pound jump right there, if you can see where my cursor is moving. So whenever we go to look at the scale, we have to know the level that it is just not true on a day-to-day basis. Now I'm gonna give you the answer here so don't feel helpless. It's all about the trend. As you saw on that, let me grab it again. As you saw on this, obviously it's working. Forget the day-to-day. He's losing weight. You have to zoom out to see the real results, at least 2 weeks. But looking at your previous month, if you've been even halfway on your game, you should see it going down a little bit. You don't really need to panic unless you see 2 or 3 weeks in a row where it's pretty flat. And even at that point, you're not panicking, but at that point, you do need to make an adjustment. The adjustments are going to be things that we're talking about in this video, but it's usually going to be in the form of either increasing steps, increasing cardio, or decreasing your calories a little bit, or increasing your protein. Some combination of those, if you do a little bit of all of them, it feels much less invasive to what you were doing before. Even if the scale trend is right though, even if it's going the right direction, one thing can still sabotage your results if you're not careful. So right now it is going into fall, and you know what that means. It means pumpkin spice everything, right? So let me show you what the Starbucks menu is for their pumpkin spice. All right, so I'm just guessing this is a pumpkin spice latte, 390 calories, and that is for 16 ounces. I don't know. I don't go to Starbucks ever. I don't know if that's a lot of coffee or what, but either way, that's 390 calories. That is a meal. Imagine that you are starving and your friend hands you a Coke. You'd be like, dude, get that out of my face, man. I need some food. Like, the calories, regardless of the 290 calories or whatever's in a thing of Coke, is not going to help you feel full in that moment, which means liquid calories are usually going to sabotage your results. Protein shakes, they're okay because it helps so much for a person to get all of their protein using protein shakes. I think it's worth it. But other drinks are a calorie trap. Things such as adding stuff to your coffee, even milk, or orange juice, especially sodas, definitely. So some swaps are going to be diet soda. I'm a big believer in it. Argue with me in the comments. Flavored water is a really good one. And even things like gum, stuff to just distract you or give you a little bit of a sweet tooth craving, fix. The point here though is to not drink your calories away. So you could do those swaps, but you could also do things that actually take up space in your stomach for equal amount of calories, such as Smart Pop popcorn. That stuff, I'm telling you, the bowl, like the opening of the bowl is bigger than my head, and it's like this deep for 200 calories. Obviously you could do like black coffee, things like that. So, not all coffees. And I think Starbucks, my wife just told me that they came out with like a protein side of things. So maybe that side of the menu is better, but just be cautious of your calories. If they're taking protein powder that tastes good in coffee, and that's all they're doing, maybe adding some skim milk, that could actually be a really good option. But many of us struggle to even tell if we're still actually hungry in the first place. So how do we fight off those false cravings? I'm sure you felt them before. That's exactly what comes next. So imagine that you're cooking in the kitchen and you burn a piece of toast. Simple, easy, honest mistake. And then the fire alarm starts going off. That is obviously not a real fire. And not every time that we feel hungry should the alarm bells go off. It might not be an emergency. In fact, most of the time it probably is. The point here is to learn to handle your hunger. Oftentimes it is boredom. It's not true hunger, or it's some other emotion. My craving survival map, it's totally free. Another free resource for you, walks you through different emotions that you might be feeling. And then your job is to complete the checklist before giving into the craving. By the end of the checklist, usually you're not gonna have a real craving anymore. So the goal here is to set a timer, maybe make it 15 minutes, rest, do something else, and then reassess. Or you can just follow that checklist. If you're still hungry, then eat smart. Make sure that you make a good decision and you don't give in to that temptation in that moment. If you're not hungry, then find a new outlet, or you probably aren't even having that craving anymore. So the final piece here is what turns all of this into lasting results. If you miss it, you'll backslide fast. And it is probably the most cliche thing on this list, but it's true. So let me tell you about one of my clients. This was a long time ago. I don't see her anymore. But her name is Sarah. She went on these things that she called steak fasts, where when she messed up, she would, which I tried to work with her on what a mess up was actually considered, like if it was good or bad or whatever. But she would go on a steak only fast for the next day. So she would eat 2 steaks and that would be it. It would usually add up to something like 800 calories and it would be almost pure protein. And, they were lean cuts of steak, sirloins usually. And, a little bit of fat, like not a ton of fat. I was trying to explain to her that what she got the next day, like the results that she saw the next day, were the fact that she lost a bunch of water weight from not having a lot of carbs and just physically not taking in a lot of food. So it's not actual fat loss and it's all just going to return very soon. And it's just putting her through suffering that made no difference. This was an all or nothing mentality that led eventually, she saw, to nowhere, meaning she actually started listening to me. And so what we changed was every single day we set those minimums. Now, at the time, I didn't use that system like minimums, but I just told her like, hey, we can make this a lot easier. We can set you some stuff that no matter what you have to do every day, but it's very easy to reach. I think for her, believe it or not, it was only like 4,000 steps. But between that and the workouts and everything, it really made a difference. And it was night and day. She got good results slowly, but they were permanent and they were long lasting and she wasn't suffering. So the point here is consistency. It's being consistent and showing up no matter what. This circles all the way back to point number 1 about how small habits, small changes, done daily, done for long enough are going to add up to huge results for you. It's like a brick wall. Brick by brick, you end up building the wall. And really think of each day like I'm just adding 1 brick. And does it make the wall look impressive? No, not that day. In fact, it might look kind of sad. But after a while, if you just focus on putting that next brick, you're gonna have a strong, sturdy wall. Now, if you follow this plan, you are going to get incredible results. But if you wanna get there faster and skip all the mistakes that I made along the way in my journey, go watch this video next. It'll literally save you months of frustration.